Welcome to the Texas Department of Transportation Houston District's virtual public meeting for the Farm to Market, or FM 1485 Reconstruction and Widening Project from State Highway 242 to Kid Cemetery Road. This is the first public meeting being conducted for the FM 1485 Reconstruction and Widening Project, and we thank you for taking the time to view this presentation to learn more. This pre-recorded presentation was developed in lieu of an in-person public meeting to share an overview of the proposed project and provide the opportunity for you, the public, to share your input. At any point during the virtual presentation, you may pause the video and navigate forward or backward using your video player. A combination of state and federal funding is proposed for this project. Due to the anticipated federal funds, TxDOT is required to look very closely at any potential environmental consequences of the proposed project. The process that is followed is called the National Environmental Policy Act process, otherwise known as NEPA. The NEPA process results in documentation that is provided to a decision maker so they may make an informed decision on whether or not to proceed with the project. On December 9, 2019, TxDOT received a signed Memorandum of Understanding from the Federal Highway Administration that permits TxDOT to assume responsibility from the Federal Highway Administration for reviewing and approving certain assigned NEPA projects, including the FM 1485 project. In other words, this memorandum allows TxDOT to be the decision maker that decides whether to move forward with these specific projects based on the NEPA documentation. Given the unique circumstances of the COVID-19 pandemic, along with the department's commitment to protecting public health during this national emergency, TxDOT is conducting this virtual public meeting to avoid in-person contact. At this time, the online format will be conducted in lieu of an in-person public meeting. This virtual public meeting presentation will cover the same information that the Houston District would have presented at an in-person public meeting, including an overview of the project, including limits and existing roadway features, the project purpose and need, and a description of proposed improvements, an anticipated timeline and information about estimated construction costs and funding, and contact information for project team members if you need additional information. The comment process for this virtual public meeting will be described near the end of this presentation. All virtual public meeting materials can be found on the TxDOT website on the FM 1485 Virtual Public Meeting Notice page. Visit txdot.gov and search FM 1485 to find the Virtual Public Meeting Notice page. TxDOT is analyzing options to improve mobility and accommodate current and future traffic volumes along this area of FM 1485. The project limits extend along FM 1485 from SH 242 to Kid Cemetery Road for a length of approximately 5 miles. The project is located in the city of New Caney within Montgomery County. The existing FM 1485 in the project area provides one 12-foot travel lane in each direction, 8-foot shoulders, and open ditches on either side of the roadway. There is no center median or turn lane. All of this is contained within an average right-of-way width of 100 feet. The proposed project is being developed because the existing FM 1485 roadway between SH 242 and Kid Cemetery Road does not accommodate current and future traffic volumes. This has resulted in congestion and reduced mobility. The purpose of the proposed project would be to improve mobility and to accommodate current and future traffic volumes along the segment of FM 1485 extending from SH 242 to Kid Cemetery Road. The population of Montgomery County has increased dramatically over the years, and we anticipate this trend to continue. Recording just over 522,000 residents in 2015, Montgomery County is expected to more than double that number before the year 2045, with a projected population exceeding 1.2 million. That means more residents traveling to and from their homes in Montgomery County every day. Additionally, the number of jobs in Montgomery County is expected to grow significantly, from just over 204,000 in 2015 to more than 319,000 projected jobs in 2045. Pairing this with our population projections, we can not only predict that an increased number of residents will be utilizing our transportation system in the coming decades, but also that a large number of commuters will be traveling to work within Montgomery County on a daily basis. Considering this expected employment and population growth throughout the county, we expect to see an increase in the number of vehicles using FM 1485. In 2018, there was an average of 18,300 vehicles traveling daily along this section of FM 1485, and we expect that number to increase to over 25,900 per day in the next 20 years. Now let's talk about level of service, or how congested FM 1485 is today, and what is projected for the future based on the increasing population, jobs, and vehicles. These graphics illustrate existing and future traffic along FM 1485 during the AM peak hour, or the morning rush hour. Levels of service and associated traffic conditions are shown on the right. Level of service ranges from A, free-flowing traffic as shown in dark green, to F, which is heavily congested as shown in red. This section of FM 1485 currently experiences moderate congestion, operating at a level of service D during the morning peak period. Average daily traffic is expected to grow significantly along FM 1485 from SH242 to Kidd Cemetery Road in the coming decades. For study purposes, making no improvements to the roadway other than routine maintenance is known as the no-build alternative. With no improvements, FM 1485 will experience moderate to high congestion in 2042 and is projected to operate at levels of service D and E. With the proposed FM 1485 improvements, which include widening the roadway, FM 1485 is projected to operate with free-flow traffic at a level of service A from SH242 to Kidd Cemetery Road. These graphics illustrate existing and projected levels of service during the PM peak hour, or evening rush hour. This section of FM 1485 currently experiences moderate to high congestion, operating at levels of service D and E during the evening rush hour. With no improvements, FM 1485 will experience high congestion in 2042 and is projected to operate at level of service E during the PM peak period. With the proposed improvements, the roadway is projected to operate at levels of service A and B in the year 2042. TxDOT collects information about crashes occurring throughout the state. The average crash rate along this section of FM 1485 between 2015 and 2018 was 214.26 crashes per 100 million vehicles. The statewide crash average for rural roadways during the same time period was 110.71 crashes per 100 million vehicles. Comparing these numbers, we see that FM 1485 in the project area has almost twice the number of average crashes as other rural roadways in Texas. To provide safer and more reliable travel along FM 1485, TxDOT proposes to widen the roadway from 2 lanes to 4 lanes and would separate opposing lanes of traffic with the addition of a median down the center of the roadway with multiple left turn lanes and U-turns throughout. This project also proposes continuous 10-foot side paths on both sides of the street to more safely accommodate pedestrians and cyclists. TxDOT has developed two proposed typical sections for FM 1485 based on identified needs for the corridor. Throughout the entirety of the project area, FM 1485 would gain an additional travel lane in each direction and side paths on both sides of the roadway. The difference between the two typical sections is one would have a raised median and the other would have a continuous center turn lane. As shown in the graphic, the proposed design for the north end of FM 1485 from SH 242 to Caney Drive includes two 12-foot lanes and a 10-foot side path for pedestrians and cyclists in each direction, curb and gutter drainage, and a 42-foot grassy raised median to separate the two directions of travel. The current TxDOT right-of-way in this section is 100 feet wide. This project would propose acquiring an additional 80 feet of right-of-way width in this section to fit these improvements. Like the section north of Caney Drive, the proposed design for the south end of FM 1485 from Caney Drive to Kid Cemetery Road would also include two 12-foot lanes in each direction, 10-foot side paths for pedestrians and cyclists, and curb and gutter drainage. However, unlike the northern section of the roadway, this section would include a continuous 18-foot center turn lane to separate the opposing travel lanes. The current TxDOT right-of-way in this section is also 100 feet wide. This project would propose acquiring an additional 30 feet of right-of-way width in this section to fit these improvements. The engineering team has developed a proposed schematic to meet the project purpose and need while minimizing the additional right-of-way needed, displacements of homes and businesses, and impacts to private property. We are showing a high-level overview of the schematic and have included a large PDF of the schematic on the project website. The engineering team has broken the proposed schematic into 4 pages in order to show more detail about the proposed improvements. If you'd like to take a closer look at the designs for a specific area of the project, you can download the schematic and zoom in on your locations of interest. In order to construct the proposed improvements, TxDOT would need to acquire approximately 46 acres of additional right-of-way. This could result in displacements of up to 40 properties, including 14 residences or associated buildings such as garages, 17 commercial properties, and 9 properties that fall into other categories or whose use is unknown. TxDOT coordinates individually with each property owner where additional right-of-way would be needed. There are several steps in developing this proposed project before construction could begin. TxDOT began the project development process by reviewing current conditions and constraints that exist in the project corridor. The project team collected data and evaluated preliminary alternatives to develop the proposed project that is being presented. As part of this virtual public meeting, we are collecting feedback from the community and will use that feedback in conjunction with additional technical evaluations to refine the proposed plans into a preferred alternative by mid-2021. At that point, TxDOT would then hold a formal public hearing to gather input to help further refine the preferred alternative. Environmental clearance is anticipated in late 2021. Once clearance is received, TxDOT would begin negotiations with property owners to purchase the additional necessary right-of-way. The engineers would then develop final plans used for construction bidding, and TxDOT would put the project out for construction bids. We anticipate this process to move forward over the next 2 years and to begin construction in late 2022. The current estimate for construction is $67 million. Both federal and state funds are anticipated for this project. However, funding has not yet been allocated for construction. The project website includes all of the virtual public meeting materials, including this presentation and the script in English and Spanish, project exhibit boards, a fact sheet, the proposed project schematic, and a comment card. We are interested in hearing any feedback you might have on the information presented and the proposed project plans. Comments submitted and postmarked by Friday, August 7th, 2020 will be included in the virtual public meeting summary report. Comments may be submitted by mailing to the TxDOT Houston District to the attention of the Director of Project Development at P.O. Box 1386, Houston, Texas 77251, emailing to HOU-PIO webmail at txdot.gov, or filling out the comment form available online by visiting txdot.gov and searching in the upper right-hand search box for FM 1485. Your input will be considered in conjunction with technical evaluations as we move forward with design. Again, please submit your written comments no later than midnight on Friday, August 7th, 2020, for your comments to be included in the virtual public meeting record. Responses to your comments submitted during the comment period will be included in the virtual public meeting summary report, which will be posted on the project's webpage in approximately 3 months. If you have any questions that were not answered by this virtual public meeting presentation, we encourage you to reach out to Sophia Wong with the project team by emailing sophia.huang@txdot.gov, that is SOFIA.HUANG@txdot.gov, or calling 713-802-5233, or you can visit the project webpage to view project materials and information. Thank you for your interest and for taking the time to watch this presentation. Please reach out to the project team with any questions or comments.